Our next speaker, Mr. Ahmed Yousif, lead of BSP Blockchain for Government Initiative in the Middle East from BSP Blockchain and Bitcoin Association. Speaking on today's topic, blockchain is the new internet of value. Over to you, Mr. Ahmed.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I am honored to be back in Sudan and virtually and speaking about blockchain and speaking about the phenomena of this technology. But in general, it will be more like an informational session. What is blockchain? Because most people, when it comes to government, when it comes to large scale enterprise level, blockchain is still in the infancy. So we go take a small journey of learning the blockchain and separate between what is blockchain and what is not blockchain. But and also, why am I using the term the new internet of value? That's another thing we're going to discover throughout this presentation. So, in general, blockchain has a lot of good uses, but the idea of being preceded by a solution like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general created a little bit of misunderstanding in people's imagination and people understanding. So I'm going to take you a little bit back, and because it's throughout my presentation, I'll be connecting and making a case for why is blockchain. It's similar to the start of the internet, and in most cases, it's resembling the protocol of the internet itself. So this map here showing us the birth of the internet, how it started in 1969 in the US, and how it was only those 4 dots in the Western United States. And it's showing that it's built around the information transaction, how we can send information from one point to another securely and I guess within a closed network. And then they had this idea in mind of empowering a center, empowering the center. What does that mean? It means that when DARPA or ARPANET created the protocol, they were thinking about how we can close up and all the information go back to the center, go back to the entity that created the internet. And actually, this is how the internet is functioning today as well, in a larger scale. All the data, all the transaction going to a certain centralized entity, whether it's Google or Amazon or any other big internet giant out there that collecting our data in a daily basis. So the internet in 1994, similar to blockchain today, people are talking about what is the internet in 1994. This is a clip from the NBC. I don't think I have time to show the clip, but you can go to the internet and find the NBC in the United States talking about what is the internet? What is that simple look like? That's the question people are asking today. So the internet was built in the free stuff model. Google will give you a Gmail account, will give you a YouTube, will give you a Google search. Instead, they will get a transactions of data from you. So this, what we call in technology, digital crumbs that you leave behind. You leave your digital crumbs behind. This digital crumbs, what is the business model that Google is using so they can sell you later on information? So in simplicity, companies that in the center, they want to be as big as possible by giving you free stuff. And then they collect your data. And then they advertise this data through some of their, I guess, business model, adware or any other technologies out there. And then they use artificial intelligence to guide you or direct you through a marketing campaign to make profit from you. So this is the internet we have today, the internet of information, the internet of advertising model. The business model of the internet today is built around the advertisement. So you use free stuff, you leave data behind. This data became your digital crumbs. It will guide them to your door, and then they will sell you stuff without you knowing about it. So in general, we hear about blockchain, but we hear about Bitcoin a lot more than blockchain. So what I will do today, I will just try to set the record straight in a way that saying blockchain is the underlying technology behind Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrency out there. Just like saying the internet is the underlying technology behind the email. So it's a larger, it's a bigger, it's a more robust technology that gives us the power so we can use cryptocurrency and transactions and things like that. So in reality, blockchain is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is part of the blockchain. So it's not defined by Bitcoin, not just a finance system. So it's not just a printing machine for Bitcoin or Ethereum or BSV or whatever crypto out there. So things are not going back to the center again, once in our lifetime, that we don't have to worry about a centralized entity that will control our live data. So Bitcoin is a currency based on blockchain, a valuable part of making the network work, because this is what we call in blockchain technology as the proof of work, as we will see in the next slide. And it has a limit assets number that will give to a network. That's how it's empowering the network. That's why it's a value. A network is giving value from itself. Bitcoin, of course, dominoes. Dominoes is you take a block, you put it to another block to match this block. So as if like they are copying a copy of each other. In the other side, you may have the same or different, but in order for two blocks to connect together, they have to match. They have to have a strong connection. And over time, after all the players put their blocks, you have a complete pictures of a chain of blocks that connected together. This is a very simple analogy of what is blockchain, but in reality, it's consists of two terms, block and chains. And this blockchain, this block is encrypted list of entries related in transaction, and usually carrying like a ledger of transaction from a bank or from finance system, or land records, or university data about students, or wherever it could be. So don't limit your imagination or your understanding, it's just a finance system. Even though we're talking about fintech today, but in reality, the technology has a lot more potential. And we leave the emphasis of its time right now. So the chain is what is linking these transactions, these blocks together, these records together, to confirm that there is a relationship. And this relationship is very strong, very secure, and very fast, in a way that it's impossible for people yet to hack or to tamper with. In order to do that, you have to hack 51% of that entire world network in order to get into the blockchain and break it. So in reality, you can mess with certain things. So how the blockchain works? Blockchain is, I want you to just imagine this diagram really well. There's a transaction request, and then there's a block is created representing that transaction. And then in step 3, you have the block is set to every node, sent to every node in the network. So you have, let's say you have a network of 10,000 computers around the world. And this blocks has to be sent to this 10,000, and they all has to validate these nodes. In step number 4, that's where everything validates, saying, okay, yes, this record, this ledger, this transaction is actually correct. And then you go to step number 5, that when the rewards happen, proof of work, the proof of this transaction is happening, then there is one piece of token, which we call it today crypto currency, or whatever we call it. And that's how it's where, just like we call them back in the day, miners would go to the mine and dig with their tools to find precious metals like gold or silver or something. And then at the end of the day, they get piece of that gold they found. Those are the miner now for the network. The miner, they call them miners for the blockchain technology. They call them miners as well. And they get paid from that technology, from that transaction. They're paying in token. And that token is Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever technology they are working on. So, and then the block is officially added. Now we have a new block. And now we have about one block created every 6 minutes in Bitcoin. And so in general, this diagram showing us how is Bitcoin created, but this, the whole diagram, this is the transaction on the chain. This is the blockchain, to have a picture of how things is related. So blockchain is a specific type of database. Those who work with database, they understand that database is very vulnerable because they could be attacked, they could be manipulated. A boss could call a DBA at night and say, okay, can you change this transaction? So you can go actually hard to the hard code and change some transaction in some database, which is very dangerous. In blockchain, that's not possible. Differ from typical database in a way that store also the information in every record. Every transaction is a footprint for another transaction, if that's correct way to say it. So store data in blocks. Also, this allow it to have chunks of information that is actually protected and cloned and copied to the next step. Also, blockchain is immutable. Like you cannot call a DPS somewhere and say, okay, can you please, I made a mistake, can you manipulate this record or change this record? Create a new block, create a new transaction, new record. You can't go back and play with the record. It's highly secure. We hear about Bitcoin since 2008, since the collapse of the finance market. We have never heard that somebody was able to hack that network. Yeah, people were able to hack anything from voting records to school system to supply chain of big companies around the world, but they were not able to get into Bitcoin network in a harmful way. Give a distributed nature and equal opportunity for the entire network. It's the new internet because you are building a network that in a scale that is going to replace the idea of what we value the internet today is the security and the speed and the reliability. They all have that in blockchain. In addition to that, we have values on them. So rather than you going to Facebook now and post your data and post your information for free, blockchain has the potential to allow you to make money from this information. If you are an artist, you put an art, what we call it in the network, on a blockchain network, you call it NTF, like you go and put your art up there. Every time somebody uses that art, it will automatically giving you some payment. So you're in reality, your art or your digital art is actually working for you while you are having vacation somewhere. So it allow it's a decentralized network in a very large scale, not like internet versus intranet or private versus public. It's when you go public, blockchain, which is the whole idea of blockchain, is to stay public, is to create a massive network that is decentralized, so the entire humanity could benefit from. There is a key characteristic for the blockchain in general, and this characteristic is it's near real time, which means super fast. Peer-to-peer, that's you have to be in a network that's distributed between the peer-to-peer network, and then distributed and then immutable. So all of this characteristic, you could you can find in the internet or in the database right now, data lake or data warehouse, similar, but we can't find all of them in one network. In addition to proof of work, a value that you get from this transaction. And the way we look at the network, this is a little bit, the people who are have a technical background, they can understand these pictures very well. When it comes to servers, when it comes to centralized entity, the image on the left side represent the current network or the current traditional data flows in every system around the world, or most systems around the world. But when it comes to the entire network of blockchain, it's going to look something like this: peer-to-peer network. Everything is copied, everything is shared, and everything is decentralized, and which allow the flow of the information and the security of the information, because you have copy of your records everywhere. And that's what make it robust and easy. So, and it has certain ways of doing things, like the centralized here versus the decentralized here. Everything is, you can start from this node and you start making nodes and copying things while everything is visible. But in reality, network, you have to come back to approve this. This network is actually valuable. And then you have the distributed ledger when it comes to public. Private is when the something like similar to, just to wrap up, we have the centralized versus decentralized, and how the blockchain has the potential of powering those on the edge. And this map here is showing us how the spread and decentralized way of the blockchain has creating market and creating opportunities that when the internet started in the 90s did not bring the same nature. So that's why we keep hearing a lot of, I guess, buzzwords and a lot of things about the potential of the blockchain. But I do believe that it has a lot of potential and a lot of scale solutions that's gonna come from all around the world, not a centralized entity, not one government or companies or large scale, I guess, data collection company. And we going to remodel the business model of the internet as users, not as a companies. And that's what the potential of this technology is going to bring into the table. So in general, the rate of adoptions right now in large scale is very small, I would say. There's a lot of labs, I guess, tests here and there in smart contract, intellectual properties, and things when it comes to a government scale project. But in reality, we're going to see a fast-paced adoptions, hopefully in the next couple of years. And then at that time, the road will be clear, and we will see the difference clearly between what is a finance solution and what is the protocol in general going to do.
Blockchain tech.
And I'm not going to play any videos. With that, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the chances. And if there's any questions, I guess we can receive them through either email or text or through the chat, because I think I'm running out of time right now. And sorry for the inconvenience that happened during the presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, Ahmed, thank you very much for your time and presentation, and hope to see you in Sudan next year then.
See you soon.
All right, thank you very much. Take care, Ahmed. And if there are any questions, attendees, please send it to us. We'll send it to Ahmed, or you can email to Ahmed and he will reply to you. Thank you, Ahmed. Take care.